All right, guys, I know that you want to support the cause. I know that you want to support Charlie Kirk and his family and his organization, but you need to be really careful who and where you're buying your merchandise from.
Nobody expected Erika Kirk's entire book rollout to collapse this fast. 1 minute, fans of Charlie Kirk were being told his final message to the world was about to change lives forever, and the next minute, the release allegedly vanished overnight. No warning. No real explanation. No clear answers for the people who already spent serious money trying to support Charlie's legacy. And now the internet is in full meltdown mode because what started as a cancelled book controversy has suddenly exploded into something much darker. Because according to viral clips now circulating online, Erika Kirk allegedly admitted publicly that she never even read the very book she had been aggressively promoting for months. Let that sink in. The same book fans were paying nearly $100 for. The same book she described emotionally in interviews. The same book she claimed carried Charlie's most personal final message. She allegedly never read it. And the second that clip surfaced, everything started falling apart. Fans immediately began connecting it to the missing merchandise complaints, the refund chaos, the leaked audio discussions about memorial revenue, and now rumors about an alleged financial audit Charlie supposedly requested before his death are spreading all over social media. People online are now asking terrifying questions. Was Charlie starting to notice problems internally before he died? Why did the book disappear so suddenly? Where did all the pre-order money go? And why does every controversy connected to Charlie's legacy somehow keep leading back to money? But the scariest part? According to fake insider chatter exploding online tonight, some longtime supporters allegedly believe this situation is much bigger than a failed book launch. They think fans are finally starting to realize something they were never supposed to question publicly in the first place. And if that's true, this controversy may be about to get way uglier than anybody expected. To understand why this controversy exploded so violently online, you first have to understand what Charlie Kirk represented to his supporters emotionally. Because for many people, Charlie wasn't just another political figure. He was a movement. A voice. A symbol. The type of public personality whose supporters didn't just casually follow him, they trusted him deeply. That trust matters. Because once trust becomes emotional, people stop behaving like customers and start behaving like family. And according to the backlash now spreading across social media, that's exactly why fans are reacting so emotionally to everything surrounding Erika Kirk right now. Especially after Charlie's death. Because once tragedy entered the picture, supporters became even more emotionally vulnerable. Fans wanted ways to honor Charlie's memory, stay connected to his message, and support the organization he spent years building publicly. That emotional loyalty created massive support almost immediately. Memorial events, tribute merchandise, donation drives, special releases, book promotions. Supporters showed up fast. And according to reports and social media reactions tied to the controversy, people spent real money trying to support Charlie's legacy because they genuinely believed they were helping preserve something meaningful. That emotional context is important. Because the backlash happening now isn't just about a delayed shipment or a cancelled product. Fans feel emotionally betrayed. And once that feeling takes over online, controversies become impossible to control. Then came the merchandise situation. This is where supporters first allegedly started noticing serious problems publicly. According to reports circulating online, tribute merchandise connected to Charlie's legacy sold quickly after his death. At first, fans were excited. People believed buying the merch was a meaningful way to honor Charlie and support the movement connected to him. But then came the complaints. Missing orders. Months-long delays. Generic customer service responses. No clear refunds. And according to social media reactions tied to the controversy, some supporters allegedly spent hundreds of dollars and received absolutely nothing in return. That's when suspicion started spreading. Because fans weren't angry like normal customers. They were hurt emotionally. These were people grieving someone they admired publicly. And according to viral comments circulating online, many supporters began feeling like their loyalty and grief were allegedly being monetized rather than respected. That emotional shift changed everything. Especially because social media quickly filled with screenshots, receipts, order confirmations, unanswered emails. People began publicly comparing stories and realizing the same complaints kept appearing repeatedly. And once audiences noticed a pattern, the backlash intensified fast. Then came another major controversy: the leaked audio. According to reports tied to the situation, a recording released publicly allegedly captured Erika discussing memorial attendance numbers, event growth, and merchandise revenue connected to Charlie's death. That audio hit the internet like a bomb. Not necessarily because discussing event logistics is automatically suspicious, but because of the emotional tone people believed they heard in the recording. Critics online claimed the conversation sounded less focused on grief and more focused on metrics, revenue, conversion numbers, merchandise success. That perception horrified some longtime supporters emotionally, especially because Charlie's death was still fresh at the time. And once people started emotionally framing the situation as grief becoming business, the controversy exploded into another level entirely. Then came the book. And honestly, that's when the situation completely spiraled. Because the book wasn't marketed casually. It was presented emotionally as Charlie's final major message to supporters. Fans were told this work carried deep spiritual importance, personal meaning, life-changing insight. People pre-ordered expensive packages and special editions because they believed they were supporting something sacred connected to Charlie's legacy. That emotional framing mattered a lot. Then the viral clip surfaced. The clip where Erika allegedly admitted publicly that she had never actually read the book she had spent months promoting nationwide. And the second audiences heard that, the internet exploded. Because according to critics online, the emotional contradiction looked devastating. Fans immediately asked, "How are you promoting something this heavily without reading it?" That single question became the emotional centerpiece of the entire controversy. Especially because supporters began comparing the statement to earlier interviews where Erika allegedly spoke about the book with authority and emotional familiarity. That inconsistency made people suspicious fast. Then things became even worse. Because shortly after all the promotion and pre-orders, the release allegedly disappeared suddenly without proper communication. No detailed explanation. No clear transparency. And according to social media backlash, many fans claimed they still had unanswered questions about refunds and missing orders. That's when supporters started connecting everything together emotionally. The merch complaints, the missing refunds, the leaked audio, the book cancellation, the silence. And once people emotionally linked all the controversies into one larger pattern, the backlash became much more dangerous publicly. Then came the biggest twist of all: the alleged audit. According to reports spreading online, Charlie allegedly requested a financial audit tied to Turning Point USA operations shortly before his death. Now, whether every online interpretation surrounding this claim is accurate remains heavily debated. But emotionally, the impact online was immediate. Because audiences instantly started asking terrifying questions. What was Charlie allegedly investigating? What concerns did he supposedly have internally? Why was the audit tied to a specific period connected to Erika's growing involvement? And once social media started asking those questions, the controversy transformed completely. Now it wasn't only about bad customer service anymore. It became about trust, money, control, legacy, and possible hidden internal tensions. That's what made the situation feel cinematic online. Then came perhaps the most damaging factor of all: silence. According to critics online, supporters repeatedly asked for answers publicly regarding refunds, cancelled releases, and missing merchandise, but felt ignored. And the more silence continued, the more suspicious audiences became emotionally. Because once trust starts breaking publicly, silence rarely calms people down. It usually makes them assume the worst. That's exactly what happened here. Fans began feeling like they were being avoided instead of reassured. And according to fake insider chatter now spreading online, some longtime supporters allegedly believe this controversy is no longer just hurting Erika publicly. They believe it's damaging Charlie's legacy itself. That emotional fear is what's making the backlash grow more intense every single day. Because supporters no longer feel like they're only defending Charlie anymore. They feel like they're fighting to protect what he actually stood for before his name allegedly became tied to non-stop controversy. The moment the viral clip of Erika Kirk allegedly admitting she never read the book hit social media, everything exploded. And honestly, that single moment may have destroyed more trust than months of criticism combined. Because supporters immediately started asking the same brutal question. How do you spend months promoting someone's final message without actually reading it? That question spread across every platform almost instantly. TikTok clips went viral overnight. Twitter threads exploded. YouTube live streams started pulling huge numbers. And suddenly the controversy stopped being about a delayed book release. It became about authenticity. People began questioning whether Charlie's legacy was being emotionally packaged and sold instead of genuinely honored. That emotional shift made the backlash much more dangerous. Because disappointed customers can calm down eventually. But emotionally betrayed supporters? That's different. Then came the first major twist. Fans started comparing Erika's viral, "I never read it" clip to older interviews where she allegedly spoke about the book with emotional familiarity and authority. That contradiction became gasoline for the internet. People immediately posted side-by-side clips. Reaction channels started calling it the slip-up that changed everything. Comment sections filled with accusations that supporters had allegedly been emotionally manipulated for months. And once audiences emotionally accepted that narrative, the controversy spiraled out of control. Then came the pricing outrage. Because according to reports tied to the backlash, some versions of the book packages and bundles allegedly cost close to $100 before shipping. That detail shocked people. Especially because supporters weren't buying random products casually. They believed they were supporting Charlie's final legacy project emotionally. And once fans realized the release disappeared after pre-orders were already collected, the anger online became personal fast. People started posting screenshots of receipts, order confirmations, unanswered emails, refund requests. And according to critics online, the biggest issue wasn't only the cancellation itself. It was the silence afterward. No detailed public explanation. No emotional transparency. No direct accountability that supporters felt satisfied with. That silence became the emotional centerpiece of the backlash. Then another major conflict exploded. The merchandise complaints resurfaced hard. Because once supporters started questioning the book's situation, they began reconnecting it emotionally to the earlier tribute merch controversy tied to Charlie's death. And suddenly people realized the same complaints kept appearing. Money collected. Products delayed. Supporters ignored. Generic customer service responses. Refund frustration. That repeated pattern terrified longtime fans emotionally. Because now the situation no longer felt isolated. It felt systemic. Then came another devastating twist. The leaked audio. This is where the controversy became emotionally explosive. According to reports tied to the controversy, a leaked recording allegedly captured Erika discussing memorial attendance numbers, event growth, and merchandise revenue shortly after Charlie's death. And once people heard that audio, the internet lost its mind. Critics online claimed the tone sounded energized and business-focused instead of emotionally devastated. Now everybody grieves differently, and many supporters defended Erika fiercely on that point. But emotionally? The perception damage online was already happening. Because audiences started emotionally framing the situation as grief becoming monetized. That phrase spread everywhere. And once that narrative took over social media, Every other controversy suddenly looked worse. Then came another terrifying development. Supporters started digging into the timeline surrounding Charlie's alleged internal audit request before his death. That detail changed everything online. Because if the reports were true, then audiences immediately wondered whether Charlie himself allegedly had financial concerns internally before he died. That possibility shook supporters deeply. People began asking, what exactly was Charlie trying to investigate? What numbers allegedly didn't add up? Why was the audit connected to the period of Erika's growing involvement? And once those questions entered public conversation, the situation became impossible to contain emotionally. Then fake insider chatter started spreading online. Some individuals allegedly claimed there were internal tensions behind closed doors at Turning Point USA long before the public controversies exploded. Now none of those rumors were confirmed publicly. But once supporters emotionally accepted the possibility of internal conflict, they started reinterpreting everything differently. The merch chaos, the refunds, the book cancellation, the silence. Suddenly audiences viewed all of it through suspicion. Then came the emotional breaking point. Fans started posting emotional messages saying they no longer recognized what Charlie's organization had become after his death. That reaction hit hard online. Because these weren't random critics attacking the movement. These were longtime supporters. People who genuinely loved Charlie. People who spent money supporting him. People emotionally invested in what he built publicly. And according to viral posts circulating online, many supporters now felt like Charlie's name was allegedly being used commercially in ways that directly contradicted what they believed he stood for. That emotional betrayal became devastating publicly. Then came another shocking twist. Instead of aggressively defending herself publicly and addressing every accusation directly, Erika allegedly became quieter. And according to critics online, the silence made everything worse. Because every unanswered question created more speculation. People started assuming, if there's a simple explanation, why not give it? That question spread everywhere. And once supporters emotionally interpret silence as avoidance, trust collapses fast. Then another major conflict exploded online. Some fans defended Erika aggressively and accused critics of exploiting grief to create drama. That backlash became intense. Supporters argued, she lost her husband. People grieve differently. You're attacking a widow. Those defenses gained huge support from some audiences. But critics fired back immediately. They argued the backlash wasn't about grief itself. It was about money, transparency, and repeated contradictions. That split turned the internet into a war zone. Then came the most dangerous narrative of all. The pattern narrative. Because once audiences emotionally connect separate controversies together, they stop viewing them individually. And according to critics online, every major situation tied to Charlie's legacy since his death allegedly involved the same repeating elements. Emotional marketing, money collection, missing accountability, silence afterward. That framing became incredibly powerful publicly. Especially once supporters started believing Charlie's own alleged audit request might connect emotionally to the same concerns fans were now raising themselves. That possibility terrified people. Because if Charlie himself allegedly had concerns before his death, then the controversy becomes much darker emotionally. Then came another twist nobody expected. Instead of the backlash dying down after a few viral clips, it actually started organizing. Facebook groups formed. Comment sections filled with shared complaints. Fans began collecting screenshots and timelines publicly. People started encouraging each other to dispute charges and request refunds directly through banks and PayPal after allegedly receiving no meaningful support responses. That shift made the controversy feel less like internet drama and more like a movement of disappointed supporters demanding accountability publicly. And according to fake insider chatter spreading online tonight, some longtime supporters allegedly believe this controversy is only getting started. Because now people aren't just questioning one cancelled release anymore. They are questioning everything connected to Charlie's legacy since the day he died. After the backlash surrounding Erika Kirk and the cancelled Charlie release exploded online, things somehow became even more chaotic. Because once supporters started emotionally connecting all the controversies together, social media turned into a full-scale investigation. People weren't just complaining anymore. They started digging. Old live streams resurfaced. Archived interviews reappeared. Deleted posts got reposted. Supporters began building timelines trying to figure out exactly when everything allegedly started going wrong behind the scenes. And honestly, the deeper fans looked, the uglier the situation became emotionally. Then came the biggest escalation yet. According to reports tied to the controversy, more supporters allegedly started publicly sharing stories about delayed merchandise, refund problems, and unanswered customer service emails stretching back months. That flood of complaints changed the atmosphere online immediately. Because at first, critics could dismiss isolated complaints as mistakes. But once hundreds of similar stories allegedly started appearing publicly, audiences began viewing it as a pattern instead of random accidents. That perception became devastating. Especially because these weren't random shoppers complaining about sneakers or concert tickets. These were grieving supporters emotionally connected to Charlie's memory. And according to critics online, that emotional vulnerability allegedly made the situation feel exploitative instead of simply disorganized. Then came another shocking reveal. The leaked audio clip started spreading even faster. And this time, social media users allegedly focused heavily on one specific detail. The discussion of numbers, attendance, conversions, sales, revenue, metrics. According to critics online, supporters felt disturbed hearing business-style conversations connected to memorial events so soon after Charlie's death. Now defenders argued the organization still needed operational planning and financial structure after losing a major public figure. But emotionally, the internet had already made up its mind. People began saying, this stopped being about grief. It became branding. That's why supporters feel used. Those reactions exploded across TikTok and YouTube comment sections. Then came another terrifying twist. Supporters allegedly started revisiting older financial questions connected to TPUSA events and operations long before the book controversy ever happened. That's when the alleged audit rumors returned hard. According to discussions tied to the controversy, Charlie allegedly requested an internal audit before his death. And once social media emotionally linked that detail to the growing refund chaos, everything spiraled out of control. Because audiences immediately started imagining hidden internal problems nobody publicly discussed before. People began asking, what exactly was Charlie worried about? What did he allegedly discover? Was he planning major changes internally? And once those questions took over social media, the situation stopped feeling like simple internet drama entirely. Now it felt like a possible hidden internal crisis slowly exploding into public view. Then came the emotional breaking point. The publishers allegedly cancelling or freezing Charlie's release became symbolic online. Not just because a product disappeared, but because supporters believed Charlie's final message itself had become trapped inside controversy. That realization devastated many longtime fans emotionally. Comments flooded social media saying, Charlie deserved better. This shouldn't be how his legacy ends. We supported because we trusted. That emotional pain became the heart of the backlash. Then came another shocking reveal tied to the viral, "I never read it" clip. Social media users allegedly discovered multiple older promotional interviews where Erika spoke emotionally about the importance of Charlie's final book and its message. That contradiction became absolutely nuclear online. Reaction channels started replaying the clips side by side. One moment, emotional promotion. Next moment, admitting she allegedly never read the book. The internet treated it like a cinematic betrayal scene. And honestly, that may have been the exact moment trust fully collapsed publicly. Because supporters no longer felt confused. They felt humiliated. Especially people who spent large amounts on premium bundles and special releases believing they were supporting something deeply personal connected to Charlie. Then another dangerous narrative started spreading online. The legacy takeover theory. According to fake insider chatter circulating online, some longtime supporters allegedly believed Charlie's death created a power vacuum internally, and that business interests allegedly began overtaking emotional sincerity afterward. Now none of those rumors were confirmed publicly. But emotionally? The theory spread fast because audiences were already suspicious. And once people emotionally accept a hidden motive narrative, every silence looks strategic. Every delay looks suspicious. Every contradiction looks intentional. That's exactly what started happening here. Then came the mainstream attention. Several larger political and commentary channels allegedly began covering the backlash publicly. That escalated everything. Because now the controversy wasn't staying trapped inside niche fan communities anymore. New audiences entered the conversation. People unfamiliar with Charlie or Pusa suddenly started hearing about missing merch, refund complaints, cancelled releases, leaked audio, audit rumors, and emotional supporters claiming betrayal. That broader exposure terrified defenders online. Because once a controversy reaches outsiders, controlling the narrative becomes much harder. Then came another emotional twist involving supporters themselves. Some longtime fans allegedly admitted publicly that they felt guilty for defending the situation earlier. That reaction hit hard emotionally online. Because these weren't critics switching sides. These were loyal supporters emotionally admitting their trust had broken. And once that started happening, the backlash became impossible to dismiss as haters. Then came perhaps the darkest theory yet. According to fake insider chatter spreading late at night online, some individuals allegedly believe there may still be more undisclosed financial issues connected to Charlie's legacy operations that haven't surfaced publicly yet. Again, no confirmed evidence supported those rumors publicly. But the internet didn't care anymore. The emotional atmosphere was already poisoned by distrust. And once audiences emotionally expect hidden problems, they start assuming more revelations are coming. Then came the silence again. And honestly, that silence became louder than any statement could have been. Because while supporters demanded explanations publicly, while refund complaints spread, while viral clips exploded, while theories multiplied, many fans felt they still weren't getting clear answers. That frustration became explosive. People started posting, "If everything's fine, explain it. Why keep avoiding direct responses? Why does every answer create more questions?" Those reactions gained huge traction. Then came the final escalation of this stage of the controversy. Supporters allegedly stopped viewing the situation as one bad business mistake, and started viewing it as a possible betrayal of Charlie's trust itself. That emotional shift changed everything. Because once audiences believe someone's legacy is being mishandled after death, they become emotionally relentless. And according to whispers now spreading online tonight, some longtime supporters allegedly believe the controversy surrounding Charlie's cancelled release is still hiding much bigger secrets behind the scenes. The second the controversy surrounding Erika Kirk and Charlie's cancelled release exploded online, the internet instantly split into two sides. And honestly, the reactions became vicious fast. One side defended Erika aggressively. The other side believed supporters were finally uncovering something much darker happening behind the scenes. There was almost no middle ground. Twitter turned into chaos first. Supporters posted emotional tributes to Charlie Kirk and accused critics of exploiting grief for clicks and drama. Comments flooded timelines saying, "She lost her husband. People grieve differently. You're attacking a widow." Those defenses gained huge support initially. But critics pushed back hard. Because according to the backlash spreading online, many longtime supporters believed the controversy wasn't about grief anymore. It was about accountability, missing merchandise, refund complaints, contradictory statements, the cancelled book, the silence. And once audiences emotionally grouped all those issues together, the anger intensified rapidly. Then came the viral reaction videos. YouTube creators started breaking down the "I never read the book" clip frame by frame. TikTok creators reposted the moment repeatedly with dramatic captions like, "This changed everything." That was the slip up. Fans instantly lost trust. And honestly, that clip became the emotional centerpiece of the entire controversy online. Because audiences viewed it as symbolic. Not just a mistake, but proof of emotional disconnect. Then came reactions from longtime Tpusa supporters. This is where things became really damaging publicly. Because according to social media posts tied to the backlash, many of the loudest critics weren't outsiders attacking Charlie's movement. They were loyal fans. People who donated, bought merchandise, attended events, supported Charlie publicly for years. That distinction mattered emotionally. Because once your OWN supporters begin publicly questioning you, the backlash feels much more credible online. Then came another huge reaction wave. Refund outrage. Fans allegedly flooded comment sections demanding answers about pre-orders, merchandise shipments, and cancelled bundles. People started posting screenshots of emails allegedly receiving only automated responses. Others claimed they had to contact banks, PayPal, and credit card companies directly to dispute transactions after failing to get clear support responses. That narrative exploded emotionally online. Because supporters weren't framing themselves as angry customers anymore. They framed themselves as betrayed believers. And once audiences emotionally connect betrayal to grief, controversies become deeply personal. Then came the Candace Owens reactions. According to discussions tied to the leaked audio controversy, Candace Owens allegedly reacted strongly to hearing conversations focused on memorial attendance numbers and merchandise revenue shortly after Charlie's death. That reaction spread like wildfire. Especially because Candace herself already carried a huge online audience capable of amplifying controversy instantly. Once her supporters joined the discussion, the backlash multiplied fast. Then came another emotional reaction trend. People started posting, "This doesn't feel like Charlie anymore." That line spread everywhere. Because emotionally, supporters believed the movement had changed after Charlie's death. And according to critics online, the repeated controversies allegedly reinforced fears that financial priorities were replacing authenticity publicly. Then came the audit theories. The alleged internal financial audit Charlie supposedly requested before his death became the internet's favorite conspiracy hook. Because audiences instantly became obsessed with one terrifying question. What was Charlie allegedly trying to uncover? That mystery drove engagement non-stop. YouTube channels created timeline breakdowns. TikTok creators built conspiracy threads. Twitter Spaces debated internal power struggles late into the night. And once audiences emotionally accepted the possibility of hidden internal tensions, every rumor suddenly sounded believable. Then came reactions from broader political commentators. Some defended Erika completely and accused critics of using tragedy for online engagement. Others argued transparency should exist anytime supporters are spending large amounts of money connected to someone's legacy publicly. That debate became endless online. Then another shocking public reaction appeared. Guilt. Some longtime supporters allegedly admitted publicly they ignored warning signs earlier because they trusted Charlie emotionally so deeply. That emotional confession hit audiences hard. Because it transformed the backlash from internet outrage into something sadder. Disillusionment. People realizing trust may have been misplaced. That emotional shift made the controversy feel much heavier publicly. Then came perhaps the most damaging public reaction of all. Silence becoming evidence emotionally. According to critics online, the continued lack of detailed explanations regarding refunds, cancelled releases, and unresolved supporter concerns made audiences increasingly suspicious. Now silence itself isn't proof of wrongdoing. But emotionally? The internet rarely sees it that way. Instead, people started posting. If there's nothing wrong, explain it. The silence says everything. Why avoid supporters asking simple questions? Those comments gained massive traction. Then the controversy spread beyond political audiences entirely. Drama channels, commentary creators, general internet gossip pages. Everybody started covering the story. And once outsiders entered the conversation, the emotional tone shifted again. Now the controversy wasn't just about PUSA supporters anymore. It became a broader internet story about grief, money, trust, legacy, and alleged exploitation. That wider attention terrified defenders online. Because broader audiences usually care less about political loyalty and more about emotional storytelling. And emotionally? The narrative looked devastating. Then came another disturbing public reaction. People started wondering, what else haven't supporters been told? That question spread everywhere. Because once audiences believe contradictions exist publicly, they assume hidden information exists privately too. And according to fake insider chatter spreading online tonight, some individuals allegedly believe the controversy surrounding Charlie's cancelled release could become much bigger if more financial or internal details ever surface publicly. Just when supporters thought the controversy surrounding Erika Kirk and Charlie's cancelled release had already reached its peak, another terrifying theory started spreading online. And honestly, this one shook longtime supporters harder than anything before it. Because according to fake insider chatter circulating across social media, live streams, and political commentary channels, some individuals allegedly believe the cancelled book was never the real issue. They believe the book controversy accidentally exposed something much bigger happening behind the scenes. That theory exploded fast. Because once audiences emotionally connected, the missing merch, the refund complaints, the leaked audio, the silence, and the alleged audit request, people stopped viewing them as separate controversies. Now they viewed them as pieces of one larger story. And according to critics online, that larger story allegedly revolves around one thing: control over Charlie Kirk's legacy. That emotional framing terrified supporters. Because for many people, Charlie represented something deeply personal. He wasn't just a public figure, he symbolized values, purpose, community, and trust. So the idea that his name could allegedly be tied to confusion, financial questions, and controversy after death felt emotionally unbearable to some fans. Then came another shocking twist. People allegedly started revisiting Charlie's final public appearances differently. Old clips resurfaced online. Fans analyzed interviews frame by frame. People started discussing whether Charlie allegedly looked stressed, distracted, or concerned in the months before his death. Now none of that proved anything. But emotionally? The internet became addicted to searching for hidden signs. And once audiences start treating a controversy like a mystery puzzle, every detail suddenly feels important. Then the alleged audit rumors returned again. According to discussions tied to the controversy, Charlie supposedly requested an internal financial audit shortly before his death. That detail became the emotional center of every conspiracy theory online. Because supporters kept asking, what exactly was Charlie allegedly worried about? Did he discover something internally? Was he planning major changes before he died? And honestly, the lack of clear answers made those questions grow even louder. Then came perhaps the most emotionally devastating realization of all. Some longtime supporters allegedly admitted publicly that the controversy changed how they viewed everything connected to Charlie's legacy after his death. That reaction hit hard online. Because emotionally, fans no longer felt like they were defending a movement. They felt like they were trying to protect Charlie's memory itself. And once supporters emotionally enter protection mode, they become relentless. Then came another dangerous narrative spreading online. The legacy monetization theory. Critics allegedly argued that nearly every major public event connected to Charlie after his death somehow involved money flowing toward products, events, bundles, or promotions. Again, supporters defending Erika argued organizations still require funding and operations after tragedy. But emotionally? The repeated overlap between grief and monetization looked disturbing to many audiences online. Especially after the viral, "I never read the book" moment. That clip never stopped haunting the controversy. Because every new allegation emotionally traced back to the same core issue: trust. Then came another shocking twist. Some supporters allegedly started demanding independent transparency publicly regarding finances, refunds, merchandise operations, and the cancelled release itself. That escalation changed everything. Because now people weren't only venting emotionally online anymore. They were organizing. Comment sections became coordinated. Refund guides spread publicly. Fans shared screenshots and timelines. People encouraged each other to archive deleted posts and save receipts. And once supporters begin documenting controversies collectively, the internet becomes very difficult to control. Then came the darkest theory yet. According to fake insider chatter spreading late online, some individuals allegedly believe there are still undisclosed details connected to the cancelled release and internal TPUSO operations that haven't surfaced publicly yet. Now again, none of those rumors were confirmed publicly. But emotionally? Audiences already expected another twist. That's how deep the distrust had become. Because once supporters believe they've been misled once, they start assuming more hidden information exists. Then came another emotional blow. Fans allegedly started separating Charlie himself from the controversies entirely. That distinction mattered. Because many supporters now argued publicly that the backlash wasn't against Charlie. It was about protecting what they believed Charlie actually stood for before everything became clouded by confusion and accusations afterward. That emotional separation became incredibly powerful online. Then came the final terrifying realization. The silence wasn't calming people down anymore. It was making them more suspicious. Because while supporters demanded explanations, while refund complaints continued spreading, while clips went viral, while theories multiplied, many fans felt nobody was giving direct, emotionally satisfying answers publicly. That frustration reached dangerous levels online. People started asking, what happens if more documents surface? What if former insiders start talking? What if the audit details become public? And honestly, those questions may be the scariest part of all. Because controversies built on emotional distrust rarely disappear quietly. Especially when supporters feel betrayed personally. And according to whispers still spreading online tonight, some longtime supporters allegedly believe the cancelled Charlie release may eventually become remembered not as the beginning of the controversy, but as the moment the entire public narrative around Charlie's legacy finally started collapsing apart. So now I've got to ask you. After everything surrounding Erika Kirk, the cancelled release, the merchandise complaints, the leaked audio, the audit rumors, and the growing backlash from supporters, what do you actually believe is going on here? Do you think this entire situation has been blown out of proportion online? Or do you think supporters are finally connecting dots they were never supposed to question publicly in the first place? Because honestly, this controversy feels much bigger than one cancelled book at this point. It's about trust, legacy, money, grief, and the fear supporters now have that Charlie Kirk's name may allegedly be tied to growing confusion and unanswered questions after his death. That's why the internet became so emotionally invested in this story. These weren't random customers buying products casually. These were loyal supporters emotionally trying to honor someone they deeply believed in. And according to the backlash spreading online, many of them now feel hurt, ignored, and manipulated instead of appreciated. So I want you all in the comments right now. Do you think Erika should publicly address every major question supporters are asking? Do you believe the alleged audit request changes how this entire situation looks emotionally? And do you think the silence surrounding refunds, cancelled pre-orders, and missing merchandise is making the controversy much worse publicly. Drop your real opinions below because this may become one of the most controversial legacy scandals supporters have ever seen online. And if you made it this far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe because we've got more deep dives coming on political controversy, hidden internal drama, viral scandals, leaked audio, and the stories supporters believe powerful people desperately want buried. Trust me, the next update could be even crazier than this one. Because according to rumors still spreading online tonight, some individuals allegedly believe more information connected to Charlie's final days and internal financial concerns could eventually surface publicly. And if that happens, this entire controversy could completely explode all over again.